We're building a 3-watch collection for $25,000. Derek's going to start, but we don't know what he's going to choose, and then we're going to choose after him.
Well, it's pretty easy. I'm going to go with the Omega Speedmaster White Dial because I kept talking about that last year. It's a great chronograph, great everyday watch. Classic. Went to the moon, if you believe in that. And yeah, that's going to start us off.
Oh,
8,100.
This is a difficult.
Was that 16,900 left?
16,900. And how much of that do I want to?
You could use everything.
Then what do I leave for you?
Yeah.
I'm glad I went first.
Yeah. Now I want to maybe a stainless steel sport watch, a dress watch, a diver. Okay. I'm gonna do. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Rolex GMT Master 2.
Yep.
Sport watch, not a diver, but a sport watch, another complication, but I think it's pretty versatile to have a chronograph and another sport watch. And I love the Pepsi. I have one myself. So that's about, they just upped the price a little bit, right? So it's like 11 to 12, in between 11 and $12,000.
We'll call it 12.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got like
$4,900.
But this is like, this is your like, where you excel, Ben.
Yes, where I excel, but it's hard because we got sport watch.
Sport watch.
Very much a sports watch. I'm gonna go outside the box. Not really outside the box, but I'm gonna go with the Nomos Tetra dress watch, square dress watch, super thin, German. And I just can't choose a third. You can't have a third sports watch. You got to throw someone else in there. So I guess we'll do that.
I was going to do a stainless steel sport watch, integrated bracelet, but I just couldn't think of one that quickly.
No, that's actually a solid 3-watch collection. I'm sure someone actually has those 3 watches.
I'm sure, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
What is your 3-watch collection? Let us know. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wrist Enthusiast Radio. This is our first episode that we're filming after the new year. Not our first episode that will be released after the new year. So today we're going to talk, I think, a little bit about what we hope to see, what trends we think are going to be coming down the pike in 2025, and what trends we hope to see coming in 2025, maybe sprinkle in some other stuff. But before we do that, let's talk about what's on our wrist. I know Derek has been very excited about what he's wearing.
He's flashing.
I'm always excited to bring cool stuff on the show.
So what are you wearing, Derek?
So I'm wearing the IWC Engineer, the new one that just launched, the blue dial with the grid. I'll pass this around. I think everyone kind of knows already about the story and design of this watch. It's an integrated bracelet, stainless steel sports watch, originally designed by Gerald Genta. That was mostly with the Engineer SL Jumbo, and now this is the latest version that launched, I think, in 2023.
I haven't seen the blue.
I haven't seen the blue either.
So 2023, IWC launches, revives the Engineer collection. Some key differences that you notice on this latest version is the bezel now, like where those circles are all lined up perfectly. Some other older
Engineers, older ones were not. Yeah.
They would always be like shifted around. Like you would never find 2 of the same usually.
Mine. It's funny because I was trying to show that in a video I did, and all the examples of the old ones online that I saw, they were aligned correctly, and because that's probably what they only wanted to show the good ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, I need one that's incorrect. The one that, but yeah, if you have like neurosis, OCD, that's a big problem.
That's a good looking watch.
Yeah, dude, it looks good.
It fits.
It fits so
a
well.
link too small, or half a link maybe on me.
It's actually a little bit tight on me too, and then that gives me a good way to talk about. IWC actually introduced a micro adjustment to this. It's not on this version. So this version has the double butterfly folding clasp.
Okay.
Right.
You have to fold one side over the other, like AP and other stainless steel sports watches. But basically what they did is they took the Pilot's watch clasp from like the Mark 20, and then they put it on here. So it doesn't really follow the design of like the links, but it's just like a fold over clasp, but that has the micro adjustment.
So when will that be? Will that be in this?
It's a separate thing. Yeah,
you can buy it.
You would
separately?
buy this watch as is, and then you would buy that clasp separately, and then
you could take this clasp off.
Yeah, I've seen some people do it online. We'll put something up on the screen right now so people.
You could do it the other colors too, right?
Yeah.
I always like the Engineer because for me, I have a Royal Oak, but it's at 41 millimeters. It wears very big. It's like 51 millimeters lug to lug. Yeah. It's not that thick actually. It's just the lug to lug measurement's so big. The lug to lug on this, I think, is like 48. So it's a lot tighter to your wrist. And I think that's why the 39,
It looks
the jumbo Royal Oak is so coveted, is because the 41 just wear. It's one of the biggest 41 millimeter watches you can wear.
This one still has a little bit of a flare. It's a 40 millimeter. It wears pretty good, I would say. Still a little bit bigger than my preference. I would still want like a 38 or something like that for an integrated. And then like one other detail I'll just mention since. So one thing they did differently is on the date window. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the date window starts with a 0 when it's single digits.
Oh, wow.
This is actually called a leading 0. It's like ties into the whole thing about being an engineer or engineer. So normally date windows would be like 1 to 9.
Yeah.
These are 0, 1 to 0, 9, which is a little cool detail they did. Keeps it very symmetrical. So everything always looks double digits.
And the date window is the same color as the dial.
Yeah, same color as well. Yeah, what would you guys... Okay, so let me ask you guys a quick question. Which is your favorite engineer color out of all the ones that came out? It doesn't have to be this one.
Aqua. And not only because of the dial color, but also I like that they only on the Aqua dial is the middle links of the bracelet polished.
Yeah.
And I think that's really nice and makes it a little bit more luxury. Where this is obviously engineer, supposed to be very utilitarian or brushed. But I really like the extra polishing on the Aqua.
Aqua. What about you?
I like that.
You like the blue? Yeah.
There's something about it. I think it's probably the fact that, the Nautilus, the Royal Oak, the most popular models are blue. So it's probably my bias speaking, but I really like that.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
I like that they didn't start with this one because they weren't like playing into the trend of obviously the Nautilus, the Royal Oak, blue.
Right.
I think the Nautilus is only for the three-hander is only blue now, and the Royal Oak, the jumbo, is only blue. The other ones, 37, 41, they have other colors, but I like that they introduced that one afterwards.
One last thing. Something I want to see next is I want to see IWC put complications in this.
Yeah.
Like a perpetual calendar would be pretty sick if they can keep the same size. A chronograph would be cool too. But I personally want a perpetual calendar.
Chronograph, they're going to do everything.
Turn it like into a dive watch with like an inner bezel, like the Royal Oak divers. That'd be kind of cool.
They would do that. They would do GMTs for sure, tourbillon for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, tourbillon.
Yeah.
Different materials. They're going to go insane.
Yeah.
It's going to be like ceramic ones.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if they come out with a 38 millimeter version.
Yeah, 38 would be nice.
We'll see what happens.
Well,
I like that.
Someone, I was reading somewhere, or someone said that the fact that they call it the IWC Engineer
I told you that
automatic 40. No, I read somewhere else recently. I forgot what you said.
Because I heard it on Bark and Jack on Adrian Barker's YouTube channel.
Oh, so
he reviewed this and he mentioned it, and I brought it up on our show.
You did.
So I thought I was bringing something new to the podcast, but no. But the fact that they are calling it, for those that don't remember, Derek told us, the fact that they are calling it the 40 makes you think that there's going to be like a 38 or 36 or 42 or something else.
Yeah.
So I guess stay tuned, see what IWC does with it.
So what are you guys wearing? Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. I'm wearing something a little different. So I'm a fan of this. I guess they're a microbrand, Space One. They do some kind of crazy stuff. They just released, I think I talked about it last episode or an episode before that. They just released maybe in our New Year episode or end of the year episode, they released the Tellurium, which was really cool. And this was their first watch.
Oh, the one with the plants going?
Yeah. This is their first watch, which is it's just called the Jumping Hour, Jump Hour. This one is, I think it's carbon fiber. Carbon fiber, and it's like relatively affordable. I think is it 23 or 3,200?
I think it's 30.
32. I have it. Yeah, you can see it. I have it.
It looks so futuristic from here. I've never seen it. It looks like something I have seen before.
It's 2,300. It's 2,300 euro. So that's about 2,400 USD. It's super comfortable on the wrist. I mean, it's like big. It looks like something like Batman would wear, Bruce Wayne would wear, I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it has some similarities. Wasn't there like a one of one piece unique by Dave Batoon? But it's different enough that I think
I saw this. I don't know if it was this.
They've done a ton of different versions of this, and they've had some with like these like cool like smoked steel or titanium cases.
Like the ones with like the blued.
Yeah, it's like the blued or like orange to blue.
Yeah,
and it's really. I mean, like the fact that like a microbrand is doing this and selling it at under $2,500 is
It looks like very
Yeah.
Star Trek-y.
No, it does. But I like that stuff. I like the kind of futuristic
Mechanical
stuff.
movement inside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I see the rotor automatic. I could
I think they have a module on like a Salida or something that
To make it jump out.
yeah, and that's what they did on the Tellurium. And I know we talked about this, but seeing Microbrands kind of or
Almost
smaller
makes some
brands,
independence.
yeah, smaller brands kind of put these modules on kind of these very available movements has shown some kind of like creativity that we haven't seen as much in the
Right.
past. So I think it's really cool. It's not an everyday watch, but
No, it's for the price to get something really cool. I love that kind of watch.
yeah,
Oh, you can set it forwards or backwards. I'm like setting it the
yeah.
time backwards.
I love the idea of wearing like we're all wearing like very basic clothing, and then you have,
Yeah.
Derek's sweater is pretty cool.
Yeah.
it's really
Thank
cool with us. But then you put on like a really like out there
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
like that. It's like that.
People are just like,
Sick.
"What is on your wrist?"
Yeah,
We did not coordinate our.
we did
outfits.
not coordinate these.
If you, even to say it's the
You
same
guys
pattern.
bought it together.
yeah, we went to
Exactly.
Tariffs. So yeah, their Space One is cool. I'm excited to see what they do next because they've just always come out with very unique stuff.
Right.
And yeah, I like it.
Cool.
I guess I can go. I can.
Why are you not even? Oh, you put the other one.
I put it down to try on. I was like, I'll just leave it down. But I guess it's a combo of two watches. You have different material
Mm-hmm.
and IWC. This is my first like real. That's not true. Not first real, but I'll get to that. But anyway, this is the IWC Big Pilot Chronograph AMG Petronas Formula One edition. It's like some long name. Like basically, it's a 41 millimeter IWC Big Pilot chronograph.
With
Say
like an
10 times
aqua.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
I
this,
love
like,
that one.
aqua strap. Comes with two different straps. Everybody, this has been out for a while. They actually just came out with the time only version. I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you want to
I've
see
seen this before, but it's so much like Miami.
it. It's so
Yeah,
Miami.
it's so Miami, yeah.
41 millimeter titanium case. I think it came out 2 years ago.
It's heavy for titanium.
This is the
Heavy, yeah.
IWC Pilot Watch Chronograph AMG Petronas. Did I miss something?
Formula
Chronograph?
One edition.
Formula One
One
edition.
edition.
Yeah, basically, it's like the Mercedes Formula One watch in quotes. That's
Yeah.
what it is for.
Basically, Lewis Hamilton was wearing this
Oh,
prior
yeah.
to.
Well, yeah,
prior
now it's
to-
mine now.
It's the exact one he was wearing.
Yeah, this
before he
one.
won. Yeah.
I
They're
love
like,
it's-
well, now that we don't have Lewis Hamilton, we'll just let Ben wear it.
Yeah. It's the first IWC that I've had for a longer period of time that I've been really connected with.
You were talking about this watch for a while before. You're like,
I
there's
begged
only
to get
one
a sample.
IWC that I want to review and get my hands on for
It was
some
that
time
one.
and wear, and it was this one. And
Yeah.
they were offering you other stuff, and you're like, no, I want this one.
No, it's sick.
Can I tell you guys a funny story? Sorry to cut you because I've
Yeah.
been doing so much. I've been like on an IWC kick too. Like
Mhm.
after I picked up my Mark 15 on the last episode. So I've been wearing that exclusively, and I'm working on a review for that, and I've been doing so much research. And one of the coolest details I found, which is not present on either of these modern watches, is that on the crown, on some older IWC models, like their waterproof models, they'll put a little fish logo, and the fish
Ah.
logo will be like, it's a fish. It's water resistant,
Mhm.
right? Both of these are water resistant, but now IWC is using this new logo, which I think says. I don't even want to butcher it. I think it's in Latin. It's one of their taglines.
Did we guess that tagline? And
No, it's like I think it's like probus something. We'll put it on the screen. But I was researching the whole story behind the fish logo and like why they took it off. And long story short, Richemont Group purchased IWC back in 2000s, right?
Mhm.
About 15 years later, in like 2016 or so, Richemont Group is like, hey, like we should trademark all of IWC's like iconic features on the watch, like the IWC logo, Schwafhausen. Okay, like, oh, that fish logo we use? Yeah, let's trademark that too.
They
So
couldn't.
they go to trademark the fish logo, and then the Swiss Institute of like IP
Mhm.
is like, whoa, hey, hold up, like, what are you trying to do here? Like, you guys don't like Christian people or something? They're like, whoa, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
Yeah, I
the
figured it
same
was like the
thing.
Christian.
And it looks, and then like if I put it up on the screen, you'll see the
Yeah.
logos, and then you'll be like, I can see the resemblance, but like they're slightly different. Like the way they drew the fish, and IWC and Richemont were like, no, it's like clearly, fish, water resistance, nothing to do with religion. But the Swiss institution was like, no, you're potentially, harming and violating the
That's
Christian rights.
crazy,
Yeah.
So they went back and forth for like a few years. So IWC started using these crowns.
Yeah.
And then after 2 years, I think another governing body came in and was like, guys, it's just a fish. You guys can have it. So IWC is allowed to use the fish
So now
again.
they use it again.
But then I noticed on their new models, I think they were just like, you know what, let's just stick with our logo here.
New
But
era.
Yeah.
if I show you my Mark 15 next time, you'll see it has the fish logo.
It
And that was
always
something
does.
I researched, and I was like, that's a really cool, funny story about that
Yeah.
watch.
It would only make sense to maybe do it exclusively on their dive watches,
Right.
which kind of could be cool.
Now I have to go back and check through my store, like every crown,
yeah.
and just see, like, does this have a fish or not?
Do
And
an
nobody
episode-
asked
do
me,
a
like,
YouTube episode of just you going through, like fish, no fish.
it'll be like one of those YouTube videos, like, I'm in this store, I'm gonna look for the fish crown logo. Yeah.
The only other thing with this watch that it's on almost a lot of their watches, but
Yeah,
I was
with
just
that.
fascinated by is the ease exchange.
Yeah,
It's so nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every brand should have this. Like
Yeah.
taking it off is so easy. Putting
Yeah.
it on is so easy.
Their bracelets are interesting too, and they are like have a unique way. Like you push it down and pull it.
I'm kind of like surprised that they didn't put it on the engineer, because that's like such an easy,
Yeah,
not an easy thing to do, but it would be such a good thing to have on this watch. And I feel like if they could do it on the straps and other bracelets, they should have done it here.
We'll probably do it once they have a rubber strap to make, but to prevent
Yeah.
people from Ken
Yeah, putting others other straps on
Specifically
it.
Ken,
Yeah.
which is a good segue for us, because our podcast is sponsored by Deluxe, so we're using the Deluxe tray.
Mhm.
None of us we're all using original straps from the brands, but I did see Deluxe was mocking up straps for the
Public
engineer.
information.
Yeah, he put on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, was it?
He like posted
Well,
it on
you're-
Instagram.
We're
and I
all
shared.
like friendly with
yeah.
Ken. Maybe he was
Yeah.
sending stuff in like a private.
Oh no, no.
WhatsApp.
He like
What's
put it
that?
on Instagram, and everyone gets excited.
Yeah.
So I hope that Deluxe can make some rubber straps for the engineer, just like they did for the PRX and some other models with integrated bracelets. They've been really popular, and I think that'd be pretty cool to see what they do with that too.
We have to sit down with Ken because there's so many questions I want to ask him. Like, how do
Yeah.
they know what's going to be popular? Is it just based on what people are requesting?
I think
Is it
he
based
does
on-
exactly that. He posts it on Instagram, and
See,
it's like, okay,
enough
Too
likes.
many of you.
well, 500,000 people like this. So I'm
Yeah.
saying.
But like how many people? There's a lot of people that want something until they have to put down their money for it, right?
yeah,
So that's kind of my question.
yeah.
I mean,
The
you go with
ratio.
Rolex or
Let's ask him
Omega.
next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to come. Remember during wind up,
Wind up, but then
he
did
couldn't.
not.
Yeah, he couldn't make it out, and
Maybe
well,
we
yeah,
could do something with him during Watches and Wonders.
I think so. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
When we go to Watches and Wonders, which I think most of us are like considering and looking at plane tickets already.
Yeah.
I know. I already started
We
looking
need
at
to-
plane tickets.
Yeah.
I haven't.
I need to start doing that.
I'm waiting to reach out to people.
Yeah,
This is nice though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so should we get into it?
Yeah, whatever,
All right.
whatever we want to talk about
Trends.
today.
We're
Yes,
at
it is.
trends. What do we think and what do we want to see happen in 2025? So, the first thing, I think, one of the trends that we've started to see at the end of 2024 that I think will continue into 2025, and it already has kind of continued into 2025, are stone dials. Stone dials were obviously really popular in the 70s, 80s, 70s. Really, Piaget started that. Rolex jumped on board. Cartier has done a lot with stone dials, as well as like AP has. And then we saw some microbrands start to kind of work in that space. So we saw Denison launch this year, and they have some Sunray dials, but the stone dials were what spoke to me. And then Bulova and Complecto had their stone
Those were
dials.
sick.
Those were sick. I love those. I think we both kind of reviewed those.
Is that the Jetstar Bulova?
It's the Bulova at Super Seville.
Oh,
Actually, I almost wore that watch today.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so they did 3 of them. They did a steel one with lapis lazuli. No, not lapis lazuli.
No,
It's turquoise.
Turquoise.
They
yeah.
did rose gold tone with no, that's not tiger.
That's the one with the obsidian,
black obsidian with like snowflake. But,
snowflake obsidian. That's
Yeah.
what it's called. Yeah.
And then there's the yellow gold with the tiger's eye, which might be my favorite of the
Yeah.
3. I really like
Same
tiger's
with me.
eye. So those were really cool. And then we saw beginning of this year, Toledano and Chan just launched with a mother of pearl. I consider that kind of in the stone realm.
yeah.
you have
Pearl.
thoughts.
Pearl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also changed the crystal of that to be faceted. So it like kind of goes the
Oh,
opposite way.
interesting.
You know how it
Make
kind
it
of
more
goes like-
Cybertruck looking.
Yeah.
And the color tone too. It's like all neutral.
what?
Yeah, I mean, people have mixed feelings about the brand. But I'm just talking about trends. There's
Yeah.
obviously
Gotcha.
a trend of brands doing interesting stone dials. So I guess they use aventurine on their first ones.
It's that whole like same concept, like geezer watch trend too.
Yeah.
Like the little gold watches.
Yeah.
I hope it does.
Yeah, I feel like it's not
You
too
think-
big in modern watches, but it's huge in vintage and like collecting watches right now.
Well, the Toledano and Chan looks a lot like a King Midas.
Looks like a King Midas mixed with a Cybertruck.
Like it's like a
Yeah,
futuristic.
had a baby
version.
with a Piaget. It gave birth to that. It's a big watch.
Yeah, I've only seen I think one in person. Very.
I was
briefly.
shocked because like I feel like knowing him, I don't know him at all, but just
Mr.
like knowing what he
Enthusiast?
likes, he would have made it much smaller.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was very interesting that he made it. It's
Well,
big.
it's not big this way. It's big like this way because it has like all like the depths. It like kind of
Yeah, the bracelet, I don't know what it gets to, but it gets super thick. Like it just
Yeah.
wears like
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I Derek's like I have no opinion on this.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I think it's cool. I think it's
Yeah.
cool. I like that watch brands are and just
Doing-
collectors in general are just doing things differently. I think that's good in general. Trends. I don't have a specific trend in mind. Like in the past years, I would say something like, oh, well, we've seen a lot of
Stainless steel
turquoise.
integrated sports watch.
Yeah, well, I think like integrated bracelet sport watches, that whole trend has kind of like faded. But with the whole industry, like it goes up and down. Like that's
Yeah.
gonna come back for sure.
Yeah.
But it's too soon. That was huge in like 2020 to 2022.
Yeah.
I think in a previous episode that we recorded, I was saying like I think 2025 is gonna be kind of quiet. And then I was reminded that like 6 or 7 brands all have like major anniversaries. Like I think Vacheron is celebrating a major anniversary, and there's several others. So I was like,
Steel 222.
so I think, yeah, I think Ben, you're right. Actually, the Steel 222 might come this
That
year.
watches and wonders.
I also think maybe an overseas with stainless steel and green dial because they did a rose gold
Oh,
and green
yeah, they
dial.
did
So
do
like,
that
there's like
last
little things they'll do differently.
Who
But
el-
again, like I'm kind of like tired of seeing integrated bracelets as I'm wearing one. Like,
Who else has anniversaries this year?
there's a post I can like pull it up, but like I don't remember off the top of my head. But I saw there was like 6 or 7 other brands.
Rolex just had a big anniversary and they didn't do anything. What was it?
Breguet just had one, and they did like that double tourbillon.
Yeah.
But I also think like like this, we're gonna see more smaller brands kind of come up with creative complications and movements and things like that because we're seeing these smaller brands start to work on like base like Solitas or ETA movements and create.
I have a theory about why that is.
What's your theory?
My theory, it's that I think not all of the small brands do this, but a lot of them that are coming up with really cool complications are not Swiss made.
Mhm.
And it's because I think that the watchmakers in China are really good.
Yeah.
And that's why they're getting it there. So they're not making it Swiss made and they're getting their own watch made there. And I think that they're able to access like the watchmaker caliber that you'd get somewhere else for like a tenth of the price.
Yeah.
And they're able to make something really cool like that, which
But
people
it's
think
like
about.
yeah, so it's also a combination of like Swiss movement with a non-Swiss potentially.
Right. I mean, they can't
you know,
put Swiss made
module.
on it for a lot
Yeah.
of them. Maybe I don't know with that one.
But
But
one of the things, because with Ren, I was talking about like with my manufacturers about this is Trump has been claiming that he's going to put a tariff on
Oh yeah.
stuff coming in from China.
Mhm.
And like even Swiss made watches have parts coming from China,
Right.
but when they're coming, but they go from China to
To Swiss,
Switzerland,
and then it's assembled
and then
made in Switzerland.
it's made in Switzerland and
Yeah.
comes imported. So these potential tariffs, I wonder if it's because sometimes you're saved, especially for certain price points. When you're down to like a watch that costs $20 to $30 and sold for a couple $100, you're not going to like the amount you save making it in China, you're not gonna be able to make up making it in Switzerland. But watches that are like $1,000, $2,000 that you might, or $700 to $1,500 that you
Right.
might make in China with the Swiss movement, maybe now the because of the tariffs becomes very similar in price just to make it in Switzerland.
yeah, that'd be interesting.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting thought.
So we were talking about it, and for us, it probably like to have something made in China, we would save some money, but not like a significant amount of money. and the premium is worth it for us to be Swiss made. So I just wonder if you'll see some brands that are kind of like, affordable but a little bit more premium that aren't made in Switzerland start to move over. But
I don't know.
It depends if
Singapore or something. It's really good watchmaking.
It depends if the tariffs actually, happen.
Actually does them, or maybe they're for the whole world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
and it might not. If it does happen, it is possible it doesn't even happen right away.
Yeah.
It could happen like 2 years or 3 years or so.
Right.
Here's a few big anniversaries from the brands. I found the post. It's from Wrist Check. Okay, so 2025 is AP's 150th anniversary. Okay, so that's definitely you're definitely going to see something there. No, but it's not just for the Royal Oak; it's for the brand.
But they did 50
A.
years a few years ago. The Royal Oak.
Okay,
but
2025 is Rolex 120th anniversary.
Okay, that's
and the GMT Masters 70th anniversary, which is like when you were talking about discontinuing the Pepsi and bringing the Coke.
But is 70 like 75? I feel like is a bigger anniversary than 70.
But brands, they like
it's like it's a 63rd anniversary.
Yeah, they're gonna use any reason to launch something. Okay, so Vacheron Constantin is celebrating 270th anniversary. I thought they were older already, but no, this is according to this post. Breguet. I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Breguet was last year.
Breguet is 250th anniversary.
I thought it was last year, 250.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Well, no, last year was it was
that was for the
Tourbillon.
The Tourbillon.
Yeah.
It's 100th year of Tourbillon or something. 150th year of Tourbillon.
Okay.
The Patek Philippe reference 3940 perpetual calendar turns 40. Looks like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite watch all the time. White gold one.
Okay. Very sick.
Well, that's like the first mass.
Yeah.
The first mass produced.
So that turns 40.
Okay.
Those are expensive now.
A. Lange and Zone is celebrating 180th anniversary. Okay. These are all major brands, with big anniversaries. The Cartier Pasha turns 40. Okay.
Oh,
they brought
fix that.
They bring it back.
They did bring it back already. Yeah. I mean,
is anyone buying them?
I feel like it's not people's first choice. I think it's more the nostalgic kind of pick. Yeah. Like, I remember this. It's cool. It has a grid and like.
Yeah. I used to have a Pasha chronograph, but I sold it. Yeah.
My friend just got one passed down to him from his dad. He's still alive, but he was like, I don't wear this anymore. Take it. So he's been wearing it all the time. So I'm like, it's the only Pasha I ever see.
Yeah.
When you have a friend that asks you about a watch that you may or may not like,
do
you tell them the truth?
I give him my actual opinion. Yeah. Well, he asked me, I go, I don't like it, but the fact that your dad gave it to you, it's really cool.
And what makes you like it? Because it's like, my dad got it.
I like it because of that.
He's straight, you're a really straight shooter. I'll be like, not every watch is for everyone. If you
depends how close I am with them.
Oh, I thought Ben was talking about his own watch.
No.
Like if someone gifted Ben a watch and they're like, do you like it? He'd be like, it's okay.
His friend got either one.
They ask me every single time. But if it's a close friend of mine, I'll tell him straight up.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I don't like that. But you like it, it's all that matters. That's usually what I say.
Yeah, and then he goes home and lies awake at night. He's like, can't believe Ben's watch is
exactly.
Well, you have strong opinions, Ben. What trend do you think will happen, or what do you want to see happen in the next year?
Give me like 2 more seconds because there's a few more. Yeah. I'm just spitballing a bunch of them so then we can. Omega is celebrating 30 years with James Bond and 20 years of the planet Ocean. I have a feeling Omega is going to do something. Blancpain is celebrating their 290th anniversary. One of the oldest watchmakers.
10 years is going to be a big one.
Yeah, and the 300th anniversary is going to be huge. Blancpain's one of the oldest watchmakers.
Bulova doing 150 this year, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hublot's Big Bang turns 20 years old.
Okay.
This is a big year. There's like a lot of we're still going. Tag Heuer is 165th anniversry this year.
That's not a real anniversary.
You can't everyone else is
every 5 years.
Everyone else is
155th. Is that what they said? Oh my god.
65th.
Well,
you can't do every 5 years. You can't do an anniversary.
After Tag.
What do you guys think? Can you do anniversary 165 years? Or 70 years?
That's the thing. But I mean,
this is what Wrist Check is saying are anniversaries. But
I think they're just saying this is what to look out for because we all know brands will use any reasoning to
It's the 172nd anniversary. It's 2 years after the 170th.
I think 10 years, 20, maybe 25, 50, 75, 100.
Oh yeah.
Not this like 100.
Here's the thing, when they get to like a big one, like the 50th, it's the 50th anniversary for 3
Okay,
years.
I agree. 25, 50 are good years to do the
Like even 75 or 100, but like 90
in
is
like
not
those
an
quarter
anniversary.
increments.
95 is not an anniversary.
Definitely.
5 away from the 100.
So Zenith is also having their 160th anniversary.
No.
Panerai celebrates their 165th anniversary.
No.
See, like,
That's
he's like,
crazy.
I do not
These are
accept
not,
this.
I do not accept these.
And 25 years of Panaristi with the Luminar Venticinque?
Yeah,
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, I think it's
Wait, it's 25 years of the
Panaristi, like the group, the Panaristi
group
club.
or the
Sounds like
watch?
I don't know.
Maybe they made a watch, or maybe they made the club.
25 years of the watch.
Oh yeah, no, it says Panaristi on the back of the.
Oh, it's 25
case.
years of Panaristi. Like
That's cool.
That's cool.
Okay,
They were
and
like
then,
the biggest, like the first group that I was familiar with, like when I started collecting.
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Panaristi.
They're like in the shadows now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't hear much
No.
about
Where did they go?
them.
Panerai in general.
Does anyone listen who are part of the group and can
Yeah.
fill us in on what
Where
goes
are
on in
they?
that?
I will come to we will come to a Panaristi event. In
That'd
New
be
York
fun.
City.
Well, this is the Illuminati. Like you just don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They control the government.
Yeah.
Speaking of Illuminati, Grand Seiko. No, I'm just kidding. Grand Seiko is having her 65th anniversary.
Oh, come
That's
on,
not real.
guys.
That's not real.
It's
not real.
Oh yeah, because 2020 was their 60th anniversary.
That makes
It's
sense.
also less real.
It's more real though.
More real.
But knowing Grand Seiko, they're gonna tie some Japanese culture, and then you're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah,
Okay,
I guess
yeah,
it makes
yeah.
sense. And then Gerard Perigo Laureato turns 50 years old.
Okay, that's legit.
And that's everything. How many did I
Maybe
name?
they'll
Like
come out
one,
with
I don't
two.
know.
size
15.
Dude, there's like, so that's what made, I didn't think it was gonna be a big year until I saw this post, and I was like,
So only,
I missing
There's
something?
only like 4 real anniversaries this year, so maybe it won't.
okay,
be.
AP's 150th anniversary. I'll accept that.
That's
fair.
yeah, because it's a 50. Okay.
Yeah, 150. That's a
Rolex GMT's Masters 70th anniversary.
No.
Definitely.
no 70.
70th anniversary of the GMT Master.
I think 75 is more legit than 70.
They didn't even do one for the 70th anniversary of the sub. All they
Oh,
did
true.
was they just updated the color
They made that
slightly
book,
on the
right?
Starbucks.
They made the book. Isn't the book 70 years?
Oh, is this what? Oh, maybe it is what it is. I just made a
Maybe they'll
video
release
about
the
it. I
book.
had no
Yeah,
idea.
Yeah, I saw your video about
Yeah, I
that.
made a video about it like
I thought
6
it was
months later. After I bought it.
Breguet's 250th anniversary. I think that's a good
Yeah,
anniversary.
that's
Yeah, it's a
that's
huge
legit.
one.
That's like a quarter of a
Maybe they'll come out with a watch I want to buy.
millennia.
The Cartier Pasha 40.
Mm.
Eh,
Wait,
Um,
the Cartier
The
Pasha.
L'Oreato's good. The L'Oreato's
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Cartier Pasha, like I don't like it enough that they should just wait till 50 years.
Yeah.
to celebrate
100%.
it. Um,
oh, wait, another 20. Blancpain's 290th anniversary. That's
No.
the oldest out of all of them
yeah, but
on
that's
this
not
list.
an
though.
anniversary. You wait 10 years and then you have the biggest out of all the anniversaries.
They're going to do
300
something for
years.
sure.
Yeah.
I already
Hopefully do
feel
something
it. I
good.
feel it.
Okay.
They're going to do something.
But we got to move on from these
All right.
anniversaries. Okay, so what trend
Do I want to
do
see?
you want, or do you not? You already don't want to see geezer watches.
I don't. Yeah, get rid of those. They're gonna die. They're gonna die a slow death. It's like those like I get that they're cool, but they're being pushed out by a lot of people that don't actually care about them. It's that they want
There
to.
has been like a big segment of the kind of influencer community that have gotten behind
Loves 'em.
these.
But I mean, all of us have been to a number of watch events. Have you ever seen one of those on somebody's wrist?
Only a certain few people.
I've never once.
But,
yeah, but, you know,
yeah.
Like I get
The people that are talking about them.
Yeah, I get like
Yeah.
all the Cartier stuff. I think is awesome.
Yeah.
I just think that like an old Vacheron from like the 70s. That's like this. It's like it's not a watch you're actually gonna wear.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not waterproof. It's not a good movement at all. It's just gold.
I thought about this other day too, and like right now the cost of gold is so expensive for any modern watch. So I've noticed a lot of people shifting towards vintage gold watches, regardless if it's geezer or not, just because you get better value.
Yeah.
You know, you're still getting a gold watch
You
and
can get some really good like gold
get some really
Pateks
cool
for,
stuff.
like
Yeah.
around 10K, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it just depends like what you're buying, and if there's a modern version which is like priced about the same and
Yeah.
there's not a major difference, then sometimes you can just go modern instead of vintage. Like there's a lot of things people can do there.
Yeah.
So enough with this negativity.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
do you want to see?
What I would like to see. I'm the contrarian. I would like to see more love for the vintage Rolex GMT Master.
Mm. No, but
I feel like
think
there's a lot of
people
love for that
Rolex.
already.
Well, this is my thought process.
Okay.
I had dinner with this guy 2 nights ago, and
It's very mysterious.
No, it's just I'm not gonna say who it was, but like we were talking about vintage watches and how much like I want a 1675, which is
And it wasn't Eric Wind.
it was not. No. It was nobody you would know.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I want one too. Or, he had just bought one. And we were saying how like I'd much rather have that. Like if you put the two of them at a certain price, you're like, you want a Daytona for 30,000, vintage Daytona or vintage GMT? I'm choosing the vintage GMT every time. And he agreed with me. And I feel like a lot of people are like that, but why is there such a price difference?
The Daytona was like the original watch that kind of set the market ablaze, I feel like.
Right.
Especially with the vintage market, with the Newman auction. And it was starting to go up. And so I just think that that's kind of the reason why it just got so much more hype, and then everything kind of followed afterwards.
Like the equivalent watch, it's like 25,000 versus 100,000.
Yeah.
It's like, I just like the watch better, even if they were worth 25.
Yeah, and it's probably more reliable to have a vintage GMT rather than a vintage chronograph.
Yeah, it's a way better watch. It's way more comfortable. That's something I'm hoping happens. I don't know. Well, after I buy one, which is in 2 years. So maybe after that.
Why 2 years? Yeah.
I just can't afford to spend 25 grand right now.
Okay. You're not going to sell off everything and just go for
I could do that.
Grail watch thing?
One watch. Yeah, I could do that, but
I considered that a few times too.
So one of the things I want to see, and this is kind of because this is like a little behind the scenes of what we're working on at Bren, which I won't give it away. I want to see more watches that kind of look towards the future instead of towards the past in like their design language. We see, especially with, integrated bracelet sport watches, but kind of everything. And look, our Diver One has a lot of like vintage aspects to
like
it.
this.
Yeah, like this. Yeah. But like maybe like, this is very futuristic and very different, but like everyday watches that look more like they could be made kind of in the future rather than made in like the 1970s. Right. I feel like everybody wants their watches to look like the Royal Oak or the Nautilus and made in, the 70s era.
Copycats.
Which is great, but a little bit more creativity and doing stuff that looks different and is more out there, even if it's still kind of, for us, we're working on an integrated bracelet design. We're very early stages, but my number one kind of design brief to our designer was not, I don't want it to look like a Royal Oak. And I don't want it to look like something that came out of the 70s. I want it to look like, 25 years in the future rather than 25 years in the past is what I said.
It's good.
So we'll see what happens. And when we have more stuff to share, I'll share. But I want to see more brands kind of taking that kind of those design cues and what they're releasing.
I think, I think like some brands are doing that. And the ones that come to mind right away is like the Patek Cubitus. Like there's something that they're doing different. And it's new. Even if people don't agree with
but it's still a Nautilus. Like looks like a Nautilus.
Yeah,
it's still kind of going back to 1970s.
And then the other one is like the AP Code 1159. Like these are brands trying new things. Yeah. And maybe in 10 years we'll look back at it and still say we don't like it. But like you have to like let time kind of pass.
I do like the codes. Topics. I think the codes have like
the codes have developed a lot. I like them better now, especially their complicated versions.
But like Moser Streamliner, for example.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of like
that's a good example.
It's very polarizing. I feel like in the collecting community, some people love it, some people hate it. Yeah. But I love it. But it doesn't look like anything really out there.
No.
And I want to see more of that from all brands at all kind of price ranges. I feel like these brands are getting so tied down to what they've done historically that we don't see we're not seeing a lot of innovation.
I think because they know that it's kind of safe because people want something that came out years ago. And I mean, like I'm wearing an example of something that came out years ago, but they made a modern
But then what
version.
happens, I think it's even worse, is when the smaller brands that are trying to come out with stuff just come out with something that looks like, a Royal Oak or a Nautilus or something, because they're like, oh, well, we can sell something that looks like that's 1/10 of the price or 1/20.
Everyone knows, but we won't say it.
Yeah, everyone knows that it looks like this. Like I went to a watch fair that we were exhibiting it at, and I couldn't tell you how many Royal Oak clones there were that were, just like Royal Oaks in disguise. Let's see some creativity.
Trying something else.
One trend I found really popular in the last couple of years is mini watches.
Mini watches.
Like I would say Cartier probably.
This is not Ben's.
Well, it depends what it is, though.
Okay. So I think Cartier is probably the biggest like push for modern mini watches because they did like the Tank Louis mini in yellow gold gold. They did the Benoit Mini, which is so
Benoit Mini is
popular
sick.
right now. It's
Yeah.
a bangle and a watch,
Yeah.
and it looks awesome. Like I want Katrina to get one,
Mhm.
but she's like, nah, everyone has one. So that's why she doesn't want one. I kind of love that about her, that she's like, nah, like everyone has it. It doesn't feel cool. She's like, I don't know if I would choose it if it wasn't so popular. So like kind of let things
Yeah.
settle down. And I've even had guys like, okay, so the other one is the Cartier Panther Mini. And like me and my store, we've sold many Cartier Panther Minis this past year. Like a lot of them. Like
But
it's been so popular.
Do you mean this more for like women's watches or also for men wearing like mini? I guess it's all relative. What's mini on a man?
I mean, you see it mostly, it's mostly women
Yeah.
buying these watches. I don't really see that many men buying it for themselves, but I do every once in a while. Like I had one guy, he bought a Omega Speedmaster with me a couple of years ago, and he goes like, and he's bigger than me. His wrist is fine. It wears fine on his wrist. He goes, I feel like this watch is a little big. I want to try something smaller. And then he like, not even as a joke, he's like, I like the Panther Mini. He's like, what do you think? And I'm like, I think it's a cool statement piece. You can definitely pull it off. Because he's like, it looks like a bracelet and everything.
Yeah. It was like the Dolce Vita one that I was like, I would buy that.
Yeah.
Diamond lugs.
Yeah, that one's cool.
The other one is the Royal Oak Mini.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Frosted Royal
I actually
Oak
like
Mini.
that one. Like
Yeah.
the all yellow gold one. It looks
Yeah.
cool.
Well, have you seen what the CEO said?
No. What
So the
happened?
CEO of AP, I forget her name. I don't know any brands.
She's new in the last.
Woman.
So.
She said that their big push into women and getting women into
Yeah.
watches. She said by like 2030, half of women or watch buyers will be women, or 40% watch buyers will be women. That's a crazy stat if they have the numbers to back it up. That's what she said. But I think that they're totally gonna. I think that's a good trend.
Yeah.
I think that like if you are a man who is on a wait list for an AP, if you put your interest in for a woman's watch, I think you'll get your watch faster, just because they want more women collectors.
Yeah.
And like I think that's 100% sure way. So if you have a girlfriend or
Yeah, this
wife or
is
something, and you're like, hey, I eventually want to work my way to get this watch, but my wife or girlfriend wants this watch, like you probably will get the. I've actually seen a couple who had it. They both got like matching Royal Oaks around relatively in the same year, same dial color, just 141, 137.
More women.
37's not like so
It's not women's, but
yeah. When I was getting my 41 millimeter, I was deciding between the 37 and the 41. I went with the 41. But also, it's funny because I posted a video about integrated bracelet sport watches, and I was talking about the PRX 40 and the 35. And I talked more about the 35 actually, which is not mini, but it's on the smaller side for a man.
Oh,
But someone was like, why don't you put the men's PRX on there, the 42? And I was like, what? There's no 42. There's a 40 and 35. He's like, the chronograph. And I was like, well, we're talking about three-handed watches right now.
right. You know, there's a mini PRX.
It's coming out or it's already
It's out. My friend bought it for his girlfriend for Christmas.
How mini is it?
It's 25.
Oh.
So she had
It's
it.
not automatic, though. It's
No, it's
quartz,
quartz. But she has the one that's a mother of pearl with a gold bezel, and she had it on for New Year's. So I got to see it. It looks really nice.
I think
Nice.
so. Along that trend, I want to see more automatic and manual wind watches in these smaller case sizes, rather than just throwing a quartz movement into it.
See, I'm like 50-50 on that, because with Cartier, like I'm like thinking about who's actually wearing the watch, and like for us enthusiasts, we're like automatic mechanical. That's the true heart of what makes the watch. But like a lot of women, like they do their nails. Have you ever had to set your girlfriend or your wife's watch and the crowns are like microscopic? Because I set Katrina's like date window every other month when it's 30 or 31.
You look at some of the old watches and pocket watches and stuff that are like really small and manual and stuff, and they don't make those anymore. And it's all quartz. And if we want everyone to like be watch collectors, like treat them like watch collectors and put real movements, real automatic or manual wind movements in these watches. Like, offer it. Make a make a Benoit with a quartz movement if that's what you want. But
they're already in quartz movement.
No, I know if that's what you want. But also, offer an option that has a manual wind or automatic. I
would like to see it personally, but I just feel like the market is pushing it to do quartz, just because the people wearing it don't want to pull out the crown set the time. They don't really need to do all that.
Also, I have
the market dictates everything.
I think quartz watches should make a big comeback.
Oh,
I am big. I wear a quartz watch almost every single day now.
Wait, which quartz watch are you wearing?
Yeah.
Not right now, but when I wake up, I wear Brew. I wasn't even wearing
Okay.
this today. I just wore it for the podcast, but I
Yeah.
wore it today. I wore the Brew Metric.
Yeah.
And
But
then
that's not quartz because
well, it's Mecha quartz.
yeah, I know, but that's not quartz for this like because it's too small. That's quartz because that makes it
Right. No, I'm just
portable
saying.
and-
I was using that as another example
Yeah.
of like another thing. I just think that as a collector, I don't have a winder. I could get one if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's just like when I wake up, I'm choosing my watch. Like most of the watches are not set to the right time. I gotta take it and wind it and all this stuff. It's like I could just pick up the Bulova Super Seville I have that's gonna tell the right time, or the Brew or whatever, and I could throw it on immediately and go about my day,
Yeah.
and then worry about later if I'm going somewhere like, oh, I want to wear this watch. But
the Super
So I
Seville
love
has that really high frequency, so it looks like an automatic, which is kind
yeah.
of cool. Like
Nice.
that's
Oh, okay, like it sweeps or
it
something?
sweeps
Yeah.
because the frequency is so high that
Yeah.
it has a smooth sweep.
Well, yeah, like in my opinion, if I'm buying a watch in that price point, I'm almost more inclined to buy a quartz right now, which is
Yeah.
crazy to say. Now, if I'm buying a $10,000 watch, I don't want a quartz watch. But like if I'm spending
Makes
like
sense.
$500, like
Yeah.
I'll take a quartz.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not against quartz watches, but
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
think like having all these watches that are luxury watches
I would like to see that though.
catered towards women all just be quartz. I think the brands, if they want to put their money where their mouth is, invest in making. I know it's expensive to make smaller movements, but invest in it and like
Right.
treat women collectors like you would treat any other collector.
So yeah, I don't like. I hear you in this, but it's not like I don't. It's not like I disagree with your.
It doesn't need to
sentiment.
be every watch.
Yeah, but
I
it's just
mean,
like I think that let's say because there's a lot of women's watches out there already. It's not like it's not new that
Yeah.
every brand wants a woman to buy watches. It's been that for years. It's just that like, for example, there are watches that there is an automatic version and there's a quartz version, and
Yeah.
typically the quartz version is going to be sometimes $1,000 cheaper. And then when you put
Yeah.
it in front of the actual buyer, they're going to be like, okay, automatic is cool, but I only have one watch, so I don't really want to deal with setting it. So I'd rather just get the quartz.
okay, here's the other side.
So when you put it into comparison, like,
For a big
Yeah.
holiday, my dad bought my mom a white gold Patek Nautilus ladies watch with it's
Wow.
really nice.
Can I marry your dad?
With I think it has I think it has gems in the bezel,
Wow.
but it's quartz and it's not
Yeah.
that small. And it's like Patek has so much history and they're like
Yeah,
known
yeah.
for their complications and I just feel like putting a quartz
Yeah, yeah.
movement in a watch like that is just kind of a travesty. I'm sorry.
Same
Sorry.
thing on the topic of the women's watches. And this is a feedback I've gotten from women before. I'm sure you guys have too. Like when a brand comes out with the women's watch and they just make it like pink or like
Yeah.
baby blue or it's like purple. It's like,
Or it's Miss Piggy. No, that makes sense.
that's an example of it. But
Yeah,
it's
but that
like-
makes sense.
It makes sense because it's Miss
they
Piggy.
and they did the
But also, if you're buying the, or just put this way, I saw this in the comment section, so I'm stealing this. But like, if you're buying the Oris Miss Piggy and you show up to your wife and you're like, your girlfriend, and you're like, hey, I bought you this watch and it's Miss Piggy on it.
yeah, you're like, I thought of you. It's like,
What is Miss Piggy in the bag?
Yeah. They open up and they're like, did you buy me a pig watch? You called me like I couldn't do that.
it's not Barbie pink. It's,
Yeah.
it's a different pink.
Yeah. But it's like they want like a gender neutral watch just made for women. So I do know a Microbrand, I can tell you guys after, that is making a really cool one.
I'm just now thinking about who does Ben have like connections with?
I can tell you right after, you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
oh, that makes so much sense. But they should do like more Microbrands to at least have like make the men's watch, and then if women want to wear it, unisex watch. But then also,
But there's also a trend of boyfriend watches. Have you heard of that before
no, it's
too?
again.
You haven't heard of boyfriend watches?
I've heard of it, but I don't
Yeah.
know
Is it
what
like
is.
women wearing like Daytonas and
Yeah,
stuff?
basically.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's been
yeah.
around forever.
Yeah,
right?
and I feel like that's also a trend where women prefer the larger
bigger one,
size,
yeah,
I love
and
it.
men prefer the smaller size. You know,
Yeah.
like it's going in.
so
opposite
then you can
directions.
share watches.
But then there's no fun if everyone just has one like uniform size for
Yeah,
everything.
I think when a woman wears a gold Daytona, it's one of the coolest things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think
Or
it's
like-
Was it like,
a sub,
Bethany
even, like-
Frankel wears like a lot of like sports
Oh, does
Rolex,
she?
yeah, and
Yeah.
like all this cool stuff.
Yeah, women that wear like sport Rolexes.
sick.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah. What other trends are there?
Yeah. What other trends do you want to see? You hope to see?
Now I'm on the spot. I
Yeah,
just
you
had
got-
a whole
you
thing
gotta-
about mini watches, but what's the opposite of a geezer watch? Like,
Big watches. Big watches.
Really?
Back like
oh,
Panerai, like 42 plus.
Loud luxury.
loud luxury. Okay,
Like diamonds. Like
Loud luxury, even like, so I've considered this like loud luxury.
I don't think
Is this
so.
loud luxury?
Yes.
When I think of loud luxury, I think of like, diamond baguettes, like rainbow.
Like a
you know.
big bang with like the diamonds.
Yeah.
On. Do
That's
you
loud.
ever watch the show with Tariq El Moussa? He does a home renovation show, but he always wears this Hublot Big Bang that has like the pave diamond complete over the whole case. That's what I think of loud
okay.
luxury.
Oh no, that's too much.
That's too much.
I think a lot of people were like steering away from like even sports Rolex as it's like really loud and out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe makes a comeback. I don't know.
I think that's also like a safety thing because like,
Yeah.
people
Like,
just don't want
You wear like a
safety.
Pepsi or a Daytona, and that's super recognizable on the wrist. Even
it's easy.
a Royal Oak now.
Oh, here's a fun question. Since we all live in New York City, we all take the train, and now
Congestion?
that there's New York congestion pricing,
Yeah.
what is like one of the coolest watches you've seen on the wrist of someone on the subway? Because I've seen some stuff too.
Well, I haven't taken the subway since. So I just
Public transportation.
I just moved to a 2-bedroom across the river.
From a mansion to a
No,
2-bedroom.
from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. So I take the ferry in.
How'd that go today?
The ferry is the most on time thing.
Yeah,
the,
right.
the New York to New Jersey ferry is they'll leave a minute early and they will not wait for you. If they see you running to it, they'll still pull up the thing and
They're like,
Yeah.
they throw the lifesaver like.
it's not
Swim.
cheap actually. It's like $10 each
Yeah.
way, which is very
Yeah.
expensive. But then I took the ferry to the ferry bus, and then there's like a free ferry bus that goes across town, and then I walked the rest of the way here. So I haven't actually taken the subway. But I feel like if I'm on the subway, I'm like this. If I'm wearing anything that
Depends what I'm wearing.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Especially in the winter, when
It's easy in the winter to hide your
to hide your
Depends on the line too.
Yeah.
If I'm on the subway and there's like 100 people, I'm like, I don't care. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's gonna do anything. I've seen Rolex all the time.
yeah.
Okay, Rolex, yeah.
What percentage do you think are real versus fake that you see just like around the city, around the side?
I always look at how they're dressed, which is so stupid. But
Yeah.
like, if they're going to work,
Yeah.
like if they're like dressed in their work clothes, I'm like, all right, it probably doesn't have a fake one. I don't know.
I have
It's
a
profile,
friend
yeah.
that makes pretty good money,
Yeah.
and he only buys
Not like clone.
clone
Yeah.
watches.
Oh, you told me this. The guy
Yeah.
that you did the YouTube
I
video.
did the YouTube video of the watch, and it's like a 222, GMT Master, a
They're
Royal
like expensive
Oak,
to buy. They're like,
a
Like
Nautilus,
couple grand. right?
Nautilus. I mean, like the 222, like
Yeah.
the fact that they're even making that,
is it actually gold? Did you
no,
get
it's
the
No,
like
no,
gold
no.
plated.
Oh.
Plated for sure.
Yeah. You're not.
You're not going to pay solid gold for a knockoff.
It'd be like
It's a lot of money.
$8,000 of gold just
Yeah.
on the watch.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but he wears suits and stuff, and he post COVID no tie, I guess,
Yeah.
but still,
It's pretty cool.
I've
yeah.
seen.
Well, is that cool? To wear
No, it's
like-
just like interesting. Like,
yeah. So like, I don't judge anyone because you can see someone that's wearing like a t-shirt and sweatpants, and will have $100,000 watch, and someone that's wearing a suit that could have
Yeah.
fake.
I've seen the same likes like Rolex. I've seen someone wear an AP Royal Jumbo like
Mhm.
on the wrist on the train before too.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like not even hiding it. He just like, grabbed on the
grabbed on.
pole. And I always thought about it too. I'm like, wow, like some people just don't care or like they feel safe to just wear
Yeah.
their stuff. And
Pre-COVID, I did.
no, this is
Post-
like after
I know, no.
COVID, too,
Post-COVID, I don't feel
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I've never like really, besides the one time when I was walking across town and someone walked up behind me and claimed they had a gun on to my head. Besides that,
Wait, what?
happening, yeah, this was a few years ago.
What the hell?
I was walking.
don't think you
back,
ever told
I was
us
walking back
this.
from West Elm. Yeah, it was crazy. I'll tell you guys after, but yeah, it was scary.
Oh, shit.
That was the only time I ever felt like really
Yeah,
unsafe.
yeah. I mean, like when we interviewed Pedro, I don't know if Ben had arrived at the time, but he told us that
Yeah.
he had the Rolex, what's it called, the Milgauss,
Yeah.
stolen from him. Someone held him at gunpoint
Yeah.
and demanded his watch. He
In New
gave it,
York?
obviously.
Or in-
No, in
in
Colombia.
Colombia, and then he was like saying one of his like I guess collecting goals is to buy the same watch back,
Yeah.
the same model. And when he told us, I was like, that's crazy. Like you could easily like choose not to ever want to be associated with watches again because of that like horrific
Yeah.
one
experience. But
Yeah.
he's like, I love watches. Like I'm still gonna go find and
Yeah.
buy one. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a trend I would like to see. No more people getting their watches stolen. No one
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
like,
Well, you hear in London that there's like Telegram groups, people being like, this guy has a Rolex GMT Master 2. He's wearing this. He's getting on this subway.
And then
so
they could
people look
offer
out.
somebody
And I've
else.
heard that like some of the really nice restaurants or like clubs, social clubs that are
They
in
like
London,
work together.
they
or
work
something.
with like the hosts and waitresses
Yeah.
who will tell them like to follow people home based on what they're wearing,
crazy.
which
That's
is
crazy.
like the fact that it's like an organized almost business there is what
Yeah.
makes that really scary. Here it just seems like very opportunistic,
yeah.
which is still bad,
Of
but
course.
but like organized crime surrounding
That's why I always
Stealing
take a
people's
cab. I take a cab if I'm wearing something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Same here too.
so the trend we'd like to see less watches stolen.
It's a good trend.
It's a good one.
Great.
I
I think we
can
all
vote for
can see
that.
that.
Yeah,
We're saying-
I vote for that for
we're saying what's
2025.
What are
Global
your
trend?
what trends would you like to see? Let us know in the comments. What would you any trends besides no geezer watches that you don't want to see? You want to see
Oh, I'll say
them
no.
go away?
I know you said you wanted this to stay, or maybe you were just saying you think it's going to stay, but I'm done with the stone dials.
You're done.
Yeah,
I,
Stone
I
dial
said I
that.
think it's going to stay.
He's stoned
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
I think it's just like, I think some brands are going to take it too far. Like
Yeah.
you're going to get some divers with stone dials, and you're going to be like, all right, we're done now.
Well, there's
Like,
Zodiac has a diver with a malachite dial,
Right. Yeah. But like even like a big brand, like a
like a Rolex.
Blancpain coming out
Rolex,
with
I
a
feel
stone
like, has
dial.
Rolex done any stone
55s.
dials? They do it.
Recently? I mean, they have
like
a
on-
meteorite.
Yes, they did.
No, on a diver. Because they've done stone dials in like GMTs. They've done stone dials in obviously. a
They
lot
have
of
them out right
Day-Date.
now.
Well,
It's out right now.
No,
Well,
Day-Date's
yeah,
obviously.
I guess
yeah.
my question is, if a brand or a watch manufacturer were to do a stone dial on a diver watch, would that still pass as a ISO 6245 rated diver
Oh,
watch?
you're the expert.
Definitely
on that.
not. No, because it has to be able to maintain. Once you go to a certain pressure, isn't that a risk at cracking?
Yeah.
Like, I
I
mean,
want to
that's
see
some
like
questions I have.
stone bezels, like a meteorite bezel.
That's
on,
possible.
That would be
like,
cool.
Yeah, that's
on like
cool.
on like a sub or something. I don't know. Maybe not a sub.
Save that idea for Ren.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I was thinking about it. You see a lot of stone dials, but you don't see a lot of stone going into like other parts of the watches.
Right.
Stone
Stone
indices.
crown,
Yeah.
I want to see.
stone
Stone
pushers.
hands.
Yes.
I definitely am done seeing fashion watches. I mean, I feel like the last fashion watch trend I saw was like when Michael Kors was like
Yeah.
crazy big. Do you remember that? Like,
Yeah.
5+
had
years
that.
ago,
Those were
like-
made by Fossil, I think.
yeah, like everyone
Yeah,
I knew,
still
like
everything.
everyone I knew who like wasn't into watches had a Michael Kors
Yeah,
gold
yeah, yeah.
chronograph yellow gold watch from like, the department stores.
They made
Yeah.
a killing. That guy moved to Movement. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Movement? Do they still?
They still make watches. They
They
make automatics now.
Are they good?
Yeah.
Do people? You don't hear about it in the watch.
I got requested to look at. Somebody said that I should go look at them. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Sure you're-
Just out of
They're
principle.
like, we'll give you a free Uber code. Just come look at them.
yeah, you're
I
like,
feel like Shinola is the only one that's like managed to break in a little bit to
yeah. I've,
kind of.
That's American watchmaking. Is that right?
kind
They're
of.
from
I don't even
Chicago.
know
They
how-
got in. No, they're from Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. Yeah.
So the saying was, I guess, they were an old company that made shoe polish,
Okay.
and it was you don't know shit from Shinola or something like that. That was
Yeah.
like the saying. But then some
Oh,
some
cool.
entrepreneurs bought the name
yeah.
and turned it into
a watch.
a watch
Watch
brand, but they also did bicycles at some point, I think. But they got in trouble because they were, made in China but assembled in the United States,
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
and they got in trouble with the FTC for saying like "made in USA," and so they had to stop saying that.
right.
And I think, but now they've, I think, gotten a little bit better in terms of like the quality. They do more automatics and stuff like that. So I think, maybe 10 years ago, they were more kind of on par with a movement type, but now they've kind of.
I would have to
taken up
see
a
it.
little
I think
bit.
I think I have a hot take because you just made me think of something. But over the years, everyone wants an in-house movement.
Yeah.
I think in-house movements are kind of overrated.
You kind of talked about this before.
I
I
agree.
have. I feel like if it depends on the watch, like if it's not like a super complicated watch, and I don't really care if it's in-house or not, but like if it's a watch that should be 5,000, but you're charging 9,000 because it's in-house, I feel like the math doesn't math,
but
what
there's
I mean?
a lot of brands
Sometimes
there's a lot of brands that also basically copy
it's
in-house
basically
movements.
yeah, it's just an
Yeah.
ETA
Yeah.
copy, but they made it themselves.
yeah,
And then
they-
I'm like, I would rather you make the ETA and just say it's an ETA, or like they should work around that.
But that's also, I think, like make the modules and stuff on top of it. Like,
Yeah.
And then you say it's a Salida with module
Yeah.
or something like that. You know,
I hate that.
you hate them.
Well,
No,
like
I-
the whole like push for in-house, everything has to be
Push for
in-house.
Well, because like then you just mentioned with your IWC, you just got a service and it would
Yeah.
take you 5 times as long probably if you didn't have.
Yeah, if it was the
basic
old
movement.
JLC movement, but it's just a basic ETA movement. So I got
Yeah.
it in like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe sooner.
Yeah, so
That was good.
I think people are getting a little smarter about it too. At least I hope.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I think there's still like certain brands you would expect an in-house
Yeah.
movement, right? Like you wouldn't expect that. You would expect in-house from all the high horology brands.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's not
Like
as
Rolex,
well known,
you
yeah,
want,
Yeah, even a Rolex. I mean, though the more appealing of the vintage Daytonas have like Zenith movements in
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
So,
I don't know. I think people care that much. I don't
Yeah.
know. They did for a while, but now I think it's like all you need is a couple $1,000,000. You can make your own in-house movement.
yeah, all you need.
well, you're
yeah.
seeing a lot of these small independent brands that are making their own movements.
Like Biver's doing it, and he mentioned
yeah.
in the talk I was at, he was like, "Oh, all you have to do is spend a couple $1,000,000, and you can get any manufacturer to make your own movement for you."
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
It just costs money.
But
it's
it's
like,
also
where's
like,
my money?
yeah, you maybe your own in-house movement, but if someone else is making it for you that also makes movements for AP, is it your movement? Or
Yeah,
is
that's
it,
why I don't understand.
I think I'm done seeing the moon swatch.
yeah.
I feel like I'm moon swatched out.
Yeah.
It's
So
been
you're
like 2
ready for
years.
the Breguet Type 20
Maybe that's what we're gonna
swatch?
see this year, 250th anniversary.
I think we might have seen it if the Blancpain swatch
was
better,
more, yeah,
but it wasn't.
I would love to see the numbers on that.
yeah. It's not revealed.
And they like released one recently in all black, but didn't tell
the
the
Storm
blue
of
one or something.
Storm,
No, they
yeah,
released
yeah.
one recently, but didn't tell anyone.
I didn't even see it.
It's just like some people noticed it like on the website or something. So yeah, but I think the we might see in a few years or something a Seamaster.
Oh, Seamaster is definitely likely.
Swatch.
I'm also kind of done, but I'm like,
No, but
Yeah.
but I don't think that I find it hard to believe they're gonna go to another.
I don't even
Watch
have
it.
one anymore, and now I think I kind of want to go buy one because I have a feeling they might go away
oh yeah,
at a certain point.
I
Because
have one.
You have one?
Yeah, I have the
There's
Mission
so-
of Mars,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
have
I-
the Mars and I have the Mercury.
but it's like I'm like too lazy to go sell it or anything. Like I like it; it's a fun watch. I mean, I still don't have my white Speedy, so like sometimes I'll wear it and I'm like, no, I feel kind of silly, like because I'm thinking it's another
Yeah.
watch, but it's really
Yeah.
not.
It'll look cool.
Uh,
10 years from now, you'll look back and be like, "That was sick."
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe I'll
it's
pass
more
it
of like
to my daughter.
more like nostalgia than
Yeah,
anything.
that's
Yeah.
why I want to get one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think like I wouldn't go buy one because they're gonna stop selling them and then it's gonna go up in value because there's so many out there on the market that I don't think they're ever gonna.
That is true. There are like
There's
millions of them, literally.
tens of millions
Yeah.
of them. I think. Bro.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah, I don't think
crazy.
it's ever gonna, go up to the days.
Yeah, I wonder if Watch Club's done.
I think
More
they're
Watch
gonna
watch
stay.
collabs. Are
Watch
you?
collabs
Do you
are-
want to see that continue or do you want to see that end?
I don't know. Depends on the collab.
I guess it makes.
don't know.
It's
yeah.
gonna continue for sure. I mean, like, just depends on who's the other side designing.
Yeah,
I would love to see a bigger brand collab with a small,
like more
Like a
the
Moser and,
well,
dude,
that or even like a Casio. And
Would you want to see that happen
Yeah.
again? Moser and Studio Underdog, like that's
done differently though?
done differently.
Yeah,
They can buy it separately.
it's
Yeah.
It's like of two similar watches. You can either buy the more expensive Moser or the less expensive Studio Underdog, but you're essentially like, they're both called the same thing or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like both three-handers or both chronographs or something.
Yeah, they both have like similar dials. Like they should have just been like, you can either buy the Moser version or this version, but you're a part of the club
I
because you
feel
have
like
one.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's harder to convince the higher end brand to be
Yeah.
like,
Then you have a bunch of people with
Buy-
Studio Underdog
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
here's two watches that look the same, have the same complication and everything. You can buy the expensive one for 50,000,
Right.
or the inexpensive one for 1,500. You decide. They're the
Right.
same though.
That's true.
It's like allowing a brand to clone or fake your watch, but like with your permission. With your permission.
It's like the Moser. What was that watch they did? Had like every single element.
Oh
of-
yeah, the
big-
Franken watch.
Yeah.
yeah, that was. I saw that
Oh.
one at.
That was a couple
Moser.
years ago.
I wish they did more of that. Like
Yeah.
they stopped it with the Apple Watch, with that.
Yeah,
with
the
Apple
Chinese
Watch one is cool.
watch, the one with all the
Yeah.
grass on it, or
That's what
whatever.
made it so cool. And now they just like make
Or the
it cool
Vanta Black
dials.
one that like
It
if you
would
couldn't even touch it, it would
disintegrate.
disintegrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moser, come on, do some fun.
Well, I like their
cheeky
Apple
stuff.
Watch thing.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That
That
was
one's
cool.
like a really cool design. Yeah.
I'm trying to get my hands on that. That's just free views.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
literal free
I did a
views.
video of like just like when I was at Moserland with that watches.
Yeah.
Teddy has a huge video with that. Just a reel.
His intro is so sick. He's like, "Hey Siri," and he clicks it, and then he flips over and goes, "Huh?"
Yeah.
And I was like laughing when I saw it. I was
Yeah,
like, "That's so on the nose," but like it's so perfect.
Crazy
That's the way to
macro
do it with
shots.
that watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last random thing. You see Mark Zuckerberg collecting so many random high hitter watches out of nowhere.
I think, did we talk about this?
We did like months ago, and then lately he's been collecting more. Like every time he shows up, he's wearing something new now, and it's all like super high level Grail watches.
I was talking about this with someone. Maybe it was with you guys. Maybe it was with someone else. But it's almost like he has no watch collecting identity. It's just to go from something from not having any watches to only collecting kind of the most sought after expensive watches like a Grubel Force, all of this stuff. It's like, there's no journey there.
He has a watch buyer.
I was gonna
You know
say,
that.
I have a feeling someone is recommending the watches for him because like he's a busy guy. He rather have someone just like advise him,
But like
like a stylist.
that to me, there's no like cohesiveness. It's just kind of like this expensive one, that expensive one, that expensive one. And it's kind of nice. Like even when I interviewed Kevin O'Leary, he has like a very specific journey and now he's getting more into independence and things like that. So to me, it's just kind of like all of a sudden being able to, I mean, like obviously he's so wealthy that he can
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like there's no like evolution. Like, oh, I liked Rolex and then I like this and then I like that. It's just like now he's wearing a Journe, now he's wearing a De Bethune, now he's wearing a
And he gets like
Force.
every Grail too. He had like the Crash Skeleton Platinum, and then he got the Rewind, and the Crash Skeleton was his NSO piece, right? He did an NSO with like red lacquer.
Probably.
Yeah.
Apparently what he does, apparently part of the reason why he does it is he wants to get people away from Apple Watches so they're focused on the meta wearables like the Ray-Bans that I have. That you
Interesting.
see me wear. I've heard that. And then the other thing is he does have a buyer, and the buyer goes out to the brands and they're like, I have a really high profile client.
Mhm.
This I know for sure. And they're like, we want to get a bunch of pieces. And then you don't even know that's him until you see him in a video and you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That's so.
I need to get someone to do that for me. For me, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's like, oh, maybe he knows the brands and he's like, go pick out the best pieces. I don't know, but he's not actually like showing up to like Grubel Force and he's like, yeah, I need that.
Well, Kevin O'Leary did a cool Shark Tank. What is it called? 10-year anniversary. They did the Black Bay 58925 silver.
Yeah.
With the Shark Tank logo.
That looks
Yeah,
sick.
he gave it to like he gave it to like the whole entire staff.
Yeah,
It was really
and
cool.
put
Just telling
everyone's
me about
names on it.
before,
And
yeah.
he's like, I saw his video. He's like, if you sell it, I will like effing find
I
you.
will find
Yeah,
you.
I thought it was cool
Yeah, that
to
is
see like stuff. I do want to see. I definitely do want to see like more brands doing stuff like that where they collab with a non-watch brand to do like a special edition. You see this a lot in like military or mil-spec watches.
Yeah.
Like they'll do it for the like Marine Nationale. They'll do it for
collabs where they make
There's
sense.
brands where
RAF.
like you could go out and do it.
Yeah.
Do like I know Christopher Ward has a program where you could go out, you just can't advertise it. So if you want
Yeah.
to make like your
Tudor does that.
Tudor does
but
it
you need
too.
a certain number, I think.
and you need like a certain like sophistication, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like seeing customizations from collectors.
Yeah.
Like I think that's cool
Yeah.
to do that. It definitely has a process, and
The Tudor one's crazy too. You have to give your name, everyone's first and last name, so they
Yeah.
know who bought the watches. So
Yeah,
if they're
yeah.
sold, they can know who sold them. It's like
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
yeah. I heard that Cartier. So Cartier has the NSO program, the new special order, which is
Mhm.
where you can like make a custom Cartier watch
Mhm.
based on their own limitations or their selections. And I heard that they might phase out that program too.
Interesting.
And I'm like 50-50 of them doing it because like to even get an NSO is pretty difficult because you have to have a significant like Cartier collection to begin with to be considered. They have to go through Switzerland, and then you pretty much like are just emailing back and forth like mock-ups of what you may want and what they can do. But I guess like over the last 2 years, I've been seeing a lot of NSO pieces. It almost feels like it's all over the place.
And you have like
sometimes.
groups that are making them too, like
Yeah.
clubs, like
Well, I saw like Singapore Watch Club
Yeah,
did a
they-
really cool like the clock version, the
Yeah.
clock.
Well,
Yeah.
People are selling them too. That's why I'm saying.
That's the bad thing about it. Yeah, that's
yeah.
a like Yeah.
would make sense if they got rid of it, or they have to figure out a way to not let them sell.
Yeah.
I don't want to see people getting one-on-one watches and then selling them.
Yeah.
Like
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
your
like the
name
ultimate
is
one-on-one.
literally on the watch,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I guess
also
it
the
makes-
ugliest royal oak ever
Yeah.
made.
Ever.
made.
Yeah.
But
How
just-
much did that sell for? Do you
I
guys
don't
remember?
I don't
Over a
remember
million
either.
or something. No.
I just saw him on a broadcast wearing a yellow gold Daytona with the orange baguette bezel.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still wearing them. He just sold a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Do you guys go to auctions at all?
Not really.
I've never been to a live one.
I haven't been to live
I've been to
one too.
previews though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done online bidding on stuff too, but like
Oh, really?
I haven't won anything.
Yeah.
I do want to try doing that.
I was bidding against Zach Blass on
Oh,
his
yeah, you were
Crador
telling us that, yeah,
H2, and then we didn't
He
know
won
until
it.
after when he posted on Instagram. I'm like, this guy. No, I was like, I spoke to him about it. I was like, that's
you
really
were bidding
cool.
on that watch.
I was bidding on it too, up to a certain point, and then I was like, yeah, I don't want to pay this amount.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah. But hey, I think that's our episode.
I think that's
for
our episode. Let us know what trends you think will come in 2025, what you hope will come in 2025, and what you, I guess, don't want to see more of in 2025.
Yeah. And let us know what you think about our choices, our topics we went through today. Do you agree that a lot of brands should be able to do like every 5-year anniversary, stuff like
Yeah,
that?
let us know about the anniversaries.
Let's hear what you guys have to say. Thanks for watching.
All right. Thanks, guys.